Yeah, I'ma kill you in a second if I have to. Use my mind as a weapon when I blast through. Put the basics in the basement, no need to ask you.
Let time do its thing. We gon' be right here. Let time do its thing. We gon' be right here.
All right, guys, welcome back to this week's episode of the PT Performance Podcast. The show's about trying to improve your business as a personal trainer, taking actionable steps from a couple of experienced professionals, such as the boys in the program with us today. So we've got Richo. Richo, say good day.
Hey guys, how are you going?
And we've got Nayte.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in once more.
All right. Hey, guys, for someone that's probably just joined us for the first time around, let's give a quick little intro. Richo, starting with you, mate. What's your background?
I've been a PT for 10 years now. Started straight out of high school. Head strength and conditioning coach for the Australian Gridiron team. And now moved over to EMF and just want to help, as we all do, which is why we've done this podcast, help people not make the same mistakes that I did early on. And just help raise the standard of our industry and the industry average from 6 to 12 months to hopefully a successful career.
Nice. Nayte, tell everyone a bit about yourself, mate.
Well, ladies and gents, I'm 12 years deep now. I've made more mistakes than you will ever make. I have not got a fancy resume like Richo. I just might like to help people look good naked, essentially. I deal with a lot of bodybuilding, physique prep competitors. You're going to hear a lot about how being a sole trader can benefit you, because I do not own a business as such that have employees or a studio and everything. I simply work out of another person's facility. So that's the unique look that I bring to this podcast.
Fantastic, fellas. And for me, been in the industry for quite some time as well as a PT and a few other roles within the industry. Currently, I'm managing a club with a bunch of PTs and run some online certification and education things. So for the PT industry. So between the three of us, what we're trying to bring to you is an unbiased look into the world of the fitness industry and how you can prepare yourself for success using the things that we've used to help us along, but more importantly, to not have to make the same mistakes that we've done ourselves or that we've witnessed over and over and over in the industry. So we're hoping to clear the path and help you turn this into an idea of something cool into a long-term and rewarding career. Right, fellas, last week we talked about once you've made it once you've been certified and you've got your qualifications to become a personal trainer, we talked about the next important steps being to identify the right facility for you based around your personality or your particular niche, the thing you want to specialize in. And we also spoke about another massive factor that seems to be missing is a legitimate business plan in terms of what it is you want to achieve, how you're going to achieve it, the numbers required, et cetera, et cetera. This week, we're going to take it the next step further and understand that we've picked our niche. We understand what our specialty is at this stage, which, as we said last week, can change. But right now, we've nailed down what we want to focus on. We've found the facility that works for us. We've developed our business plan. We're happy with that. And we're going into now actionable tasks, or what you might call a daily and weekly game plan, strategy. Richo, take us through your document, mate. We mentioned it last week, and we are going to make this available at the end of the show via email. You guys are going to have to shoot us an email to get your hands on this. Richo's got a pretty comprehensive self-accountability checklist or spreadsheet that we're going to go through today. So, Richo, over to you on that one.
Perfect. Guys, like we spoke about in the first episode, for me, the big one is just do the fucking work. Be there for 40 plus hours and do the work. And this accountability spreadsheet just really lets you know where you stand. The big thing for me is everyone fails. The industry average is 6 to 12 months. So a lot of people are failing before that. The big thing that they're not doing is I dare you to do 40 hours a week, actually do 40 hours a week for your first 12 weeks and fail. I dare you to try. I dare you to do 40 hours of bookwork, of canvassing, of research, of complimentary sessions. I dare you to do that and fail, because I guarantee you won't. But people do fucking 13 hours a week and wonder why they can't get any busier. So on the accountability spreadsheet that we have here is once you get it, download it. So once you email in, we'll send it out to you. It'll make more sense if you're sort of going through it as we talk about it. But first of all, it starts off with your PT hours. So the amount of hours you're getting paid for at the moment. So the example on the spreadsheet is 23, okay? Your PT income from that is 1,300, goes into GST. We're going to skip over that. The next bit is the most important bit, which is what we're talking about here, is it's the hours that are going to build that 23 hours up. So the first one is walking the floor. So how many hours a week are you spending walking the floor, getting yourself noticed, trying to impact people positively on the floor and help them have a better workout, or help them achieve their goal better? Going up to those people is what's going to help effectively build your business. I'm pretty sure, well, for me, walking the floor was the biggest one. But we'll sort of, I guess we'll expand on this one. Nayte, Mooney, walking the floor. How do you guys go about approaching people when you're walking the floor?
Well, let's go with you on that one, Nayte, because for those listening, obviously Nayte and Richo are on the tools daily. They're on the floor as PTs. I'll give my opinion later after you fellas have had a chat, because you're out there doing it. I'll give you what I recommend and what's worked for me. But Nayte, what's your go-to when walking the floor?
Okay, so the approach of walking the floor that is sold to you by current PT standards, which is basically, walk around, clean some stuff, talk to some people, is all well and good. And it's actually very, very feasible. Walk around, look after your gym, make sure you're seen, introduce yourself to some people, go from there. The unfortunate part of walking the floor that most people seem to get discouraged by is that if you walk the floor and say hi to people and help them out and whatever, and people don't want to give you money straight away, that it was a waste of time. PT, personal training, is a turtle's game. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the fact that you will see advertisements of, as soon as I came out of college, I was making six figures within 3 months. Well, first off, dickhead, no, you weren't, because you're 3 months out. You haven't made 100 grand yet. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Secondly, this is almost privy to like a 12-week challenge before and after photo. I like the fact that your after photo is different, but I want to see the after photo.
Yep.
I don't care about your business when you're enthusiastic 3 months deep. Show it to me 3 years deep and let's see where you're at.
Good.
I'm sure Richo, I'm sure Mooney, you guys can back me up in saying that walking the floor is getting you known and building rapport. There is a very small percentage of chance you are going to gain a client then and there from that aspect. It has happened. I'm not saying it won't. But more than anything, I have countless stories of people that have come up to me or spoken to me about training 6 months deep, 8 months deep, 12 months deep, purely because you're around, you're talking to them, and you're treating them like a person. Walking the floor is you are dealing with people who are in this gym already. You're not dealing with new leads, you're dealing with existing. It's very feasible to build your business from that, but walking the floor it's going to take time, in my opinion.
I agree, 100%. And it's Rich, I'll go to you next, mate.
Mate, I think that's perfect. Definitely with the general pop that you will attract from that, 100%. Where I think walking the floor actually comes in quite handy and beneficial definitely is finding your niche, like we talked about. Like for me, my main is strength for sports and conditioning. So when I walk around the floor and I talk to people, as we do get ourselves known, often I'll come across someone who is training to be a better rugby player, but they're training like a bodybuilder. I'm wondering why they're getting shitter. So for me, it's perfect because I find that going like, well, I don't know if you know, but that's actually what I specialize in. How about I take you for a session on how you should be training for your sport, and let's go from there. And 9 times out of 10, that's how I pick out my leads like that. So definitely agree with the rest of walking the floor. It's definitely a turtles game. They see you there, they get to trust you. They see the results you achieve with other clients. They realize they can't do it by themselves. That's when they come to you. But at the same time, I do see that instant success with people that fit my niche because they don't know what they're doing, and that's my specialty. Yep. So I think definitely the turtle game for general pop, but I think it can definitely be an instant success game for your niche.
Absolutely. Good one. And, you know, it comes down to things that we covered last week is what is your motivation? What mindset are you rolling through as you get out on that floor? If you're out there freaking out that you can't buy your lunch tomorrow because you've got no coin, that's going to influence the type of approach you're having on the gym floor. Okay. If you don't know your niche, as you just mentioned there, Richo, same deal. If you don't know who you're specializing in or who you're looking for, you're doing what they call the machine gun approach. Yeah. So I'm more about being a sniper. You got to hone in on the kind of prospect that works for you and that's going to yield you a better result. But at the same time, not everyone's going to be that person. Okay. So what I recommend the guys that I work with is 3 to 7 points of contact at least, you know, like, and that could be, as Nate mentioned before, that could be over a few weeks. That could be over a few months, depends on how often they train and how often they're in the club or facility. Right. But the important thing is the key word at the start is personal, right? It's personal training. We want to get to know these people. We want them to get to know you. Half of your prospecting can be done while you're training other people. Yep. So they'll be watching you when you're out on the gym floor in your uniform and you're PTing your other clients, whether it's a free consult, whether it's a paid session, whether it's whatever, they're watching how you interact. They're seeing, are you leaning on a machine while your client's doing the work? Are you looking at your phone while your client's doing the work? Are you sitting on the ground while they're doing their work? Or are you 100% engaged and attentive to what's going on? Do they see that client walk in the gym, you know, in a certain mood? Do they see them leaving in a certain mood? Do they see their results coming over a period of time? That's how most of your prospect as a PT is done. Now, let's say you're a newbie and you don't have the client base yet to rely on that approach. You just got to be a nice person. You got to be on the gym floor showing people you give a shit about them and that you're there because you're passionate about helping them achieve the goals that they have, and that you'll only know what those goals are by initiating conversation. Okay, so sitting at the front desk, checking in, watching people check in, doesn't do it. Sitting in the lunchroom, waiting for your phone to ring or a PT lead to come your way, doesn't do it. You got to be on the gym floor. You got to show them you give a shit. You got to show them that you're part of the family and they're part of yours. That makes sense?
A lot of sense.
Cool.
I guess then from there, so the next one on the accountability spreadsheet is bookwork. So that's just simple things like filling out this spreadsheet, taking the time to actually know where the fuck you're at with your business. And like we talked about, the thing that you don't get told at your PT courses is that you are a business fucking owner.
Yeah.
You are not just a personal trainer. You are a business owner. I'm sorry to say, but if you think you're just going to get away without fucking being one, you're not.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that you've got to do. So bookwork to me, well, when I fill it out, is things like this and how long it takes me to write programs as well. You could add in another subcategory and write programming as well. I just put it all in as my bookwork. It's all hours I'm doing for my business, not my business. Anyone else have anything that you'd add to bookwork or any sub things you put under that?
Like bookwork to me would be basic admin. I'd probably add something in for programming or check-ins personally, because otherwise I'd get confused. Bookwork to me, well, the only bookwork I really do is income expense tracker. So what came in that week, what went out that week is a good example.
Yep.
And then if I have any special notes, I'll make that. Session tracker in terms of how many sessions I did that week, where they were up to in their potential package or session number that we're going through. How many weeks they've been with me, depending on the client, how many leads I got, how many conversions I had, and just something like this spreadsheet already has in it, just from a sales and conversion perspective. That's about the extent of the weekly book work that I would put in with that. The tax man or the accountant takes care of all the other, receipts and doing the tax and all that. But pretty much it's not that hard to keep on top of where you're at, especially as a sole trader. It literally will only take you probably half an hour at most once you're getting this system really sorted out.
I think that's a great one to put up nice and early in the list too, Richo, with the bookwork, is because a lot of PTs I've worked with in the past, they don't do this. They just wait till it's June and then they start scrambling to pull all their shit together and go see an accountant, and the accountant goes, far out, man, you've given me a pile of shit to work with. Okay, there you go. If you do what Nate just said, if you keep in touch with your ingoings and your outgoings on a weekly basis, when you keep all those receipts and when you understand where you're at and you go to your accountant, then they've got shit to work with. You know what I mean? Then they really can make some better strategies for you moving forward. I mean, how many PTs have you met that still operate on a cash basis and still claim as much expenses as they can so they don't have to pay tax, and they're still living like, they could be doing 30 sessions a week, but you wouldn't know it. because they've got nothing to show for it. You know, if you treat it like a business, have your ingoings, have your outgoings, track it all. It's not that hard in 2018 to find fucking apps and spreadsheets. We got this stuff covered as well. This tracking sheet here does a great job for it. If you do that, you can allow yourself to grow your business because you'll be able to see where your money's going and where it's not going. Other parts of bookwork, I'll flick back to my days as in the football with the American football. We watched film, and we watched film for 100 different reasons. But one of the big ones was the play successful because you executed perfectly, or was it successful because someone fell over? You know what I'm saying? Or someone missed a tackle or someone missed their assignment. Same as in business. Did you pick up 5 new leads this week because you executed your strategy well and got the result? Or did someone just rock up and go, hey, man, I want a PT and I want 3 sessions a week, and someone else come in and did 2, and you don't even know where it came from. Therefore, you don't know where that success came from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Instead of just flying by the seat of your pants, mark shit down. We mentioned this, I think, episode 1 or 2, where we talked about we put all this effort into our structured programs for our strength conditioning and our training and our fitness about where we were, where we want to go, what steps we need to take to get there, but we don't do it on our business.
Yeah.
So great. Bookwork, super important.
Yeah. So the next one on the list is canvassing. So canvassing is your cold calling. It's your list that you get from your gym managers of, well, we call the falling stars list. So people who in the last month haven't come in that regularly. In between 0 to 4 visits, where are those people gone? Canvassing birthday people. So get the birthday list from your club manager as well. Wish them a happy birthday, offer them a complimentary session. So all this time that you're doing, making these phone calls, that's what I class as canvassing. Nate, I know this guy is the lead gen master, so I'm sure he will have a couple of others to add into that canvassing list.
Like, you're at a commercial gym for the lead aspect. I mean, most gyms could do with a bit of a fix-up in terms of equipment, so really you're not going to pick it for that. You're going to pick a popular gym more often than not in your area that suits with your niche that you can get access to leads to. If they don't want to give you access to the leads, you're not going there. Pure and simple, really straightforward. The amount of PTs that do this on a regular basis would be a very minimal amount, even as the most experienced guys. I definitely have periods where I do not do this. I definitely have periods where I probably don't need to do it and do it. I'm just going to tell you to try and be as consistent as you possibly can be. I do this still now. I did it this week. A good thing to realize for this canvassing, and this will branch off into a sales chat that we'll obviously have as its own podcast, and more than likely get a guest on because they're going to be better at sales than we are, or explain it better than we are. It's not really our job. Sales is a massive part of it, and this canvassing list is going to be ultimately very unsuccessful. You have to be prepared for that. This canvassing list, no matter how good your script is and how good you are at your job, this will be a hard way to get clients. Doesn't mean it's impossible, just means it's harder. If you've got 100 names on a list, prepare for 50 of those not to pick up the phone.
So what
prepare for a few of those to say no.
Just quickly, on the spreadsheet, I'll shoot down to the bottom because sort of what comes under this canvassing list is there's a few numbers that are going to help you get a grasp of whether canvassing is working for you in your business. So it's got prospecting calls made. So on the example, it's 50. So from those 50 names that you call, 25 of those answered. From those 25, say you were saying, hey guys, just realized I haven't been to the gym. Want to offer you a complimentary session to get back on track. 5 of those go, yeah, we'll take you up. The other 20 go, nah, piss off. So now it's taken you 50 phone calls to get 5 people to book in. And then from there, we can put on there as well, from those 5 you booked in, how many of those did you convert? Let's say it turns out to be 1. That means you know that if you need to pick up 1 more client for that week, you need to call 50 people. 50 people will roughly equate to 1 converted client for you.
Yeah.
And that's where all these numbers become important because I've met plenty of guys where canvassing is their go-to. I know people that from the amount of canvassing they do, they'll get 5 people booked in and they'll convert 5. But then, like Nate said, I know plenty of people that'll do 100 calls, get 30 people booked in and get none. So you start to find out where your strengths are in picking up leads as well. So again, this is all just stuff to keep you accountable and start helping you figure out your business and what your strengths and weaknesses are. Because if you don't know what your strengths are, how are you going to be good?
That's right. Now, let me chime in a bit on the canvassing too, because while we will eventually get someone who is an active specialist, this is what I do every day, is the canvassing side. As the club manager, we run the sales team, membership sales team. It's what I've done for years, okay? So while not the leading expert in it, I'm pretty confident I've got a pretty sound approach and understanding of how it works. Now, this is how it usually works when most PTs get a canvassing list, right? Hey, it's Chris. I'm the PT at the gym. I'm just ringing to see how's your training going. If you need any help or something like that, I'm around. Here's my number. When are you in next? Maybe I can give you a free consultation or a free session. How does that sound? Real appealing, eh? You know what I mean? Like, honestly, that's the most part how it goes. So what I recommend is when you're doing the canvassing, a bunch of things. We spoke about this earlier today, or we were chatting about it earlier today, is the word grind. Everyone's always hashtagging the word grind. This is a task where that is applicable. We grind on the phones. You've got to be there to go. It's going to take a lot of numbers. That every time someone picks up the phone, it's the first time they've heard you speak to them today. It doesn't matter if you've had one phone call or 50 phone calls. If it was one yes or 50 no's, doesn't matter. Okay, so you've got to be able to refresh every single time you dial that number. Okay, so there's the grind aspect there. The other thing is, why should it be any different on the phone to what it's like on the floor? Let's build a connection. Let them understand that you're there because you give a shit and you want to see them in Richo's example, the falling star. You want them back in the club. Okay, so a different tone would be to give them a call and say, first and foremost, hey, this is Chris from the gym. How you doing today? Have I got you at a good time? Fantastic. Hey, listen, the reason for the call is, haven't seen you around. It's your birthday. You joined up X amount of time ago. And then you have that conversation. If they say to you, it's not a good time to call, why would you try and jam all that in there and make it a harder task to get the phone call anyway? Okay, get their permission to have the chat. If not, when's a better time to give you a call? Awesome, I'll call you back. Then fucking call them back. Okay, how many times do you get a no thanks, or I'm busy, or I don't call, and it just gets done and they don't come back to it. Okay, so I'm more the type to go, pick 10 names. Call them without being a tool about it, but make sure you've gone through them until you've either crossed them off the list or you've had that opportunity to have a chat. Okay, then go on to your next block of 10. The other thing, I guess, is to take it back a step from a club manager's perspective. Yep, our database is available to our PTs, but I'm not giving it freely, only because I want to make sure the information or the conversation you're having with my perspective or with my current members is in tune with is in tune with what we do. Okay, so last thing I want is a rogue PT jumping on the phone, rambling some bullshit down the line that doesn't really make sense and makes the club by association look unprofessional.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Like, you got to play the game a little bit. You've kind of got to follow their script with a little bit of flair. They've got to know that you're not going to poach
other people.
Hey,
you
Richo,
might call up someone else's client, and
you're more than likely going to.
Yeah. And this is how I recommend. This is how I coach that point. I say it's like you're with a bunch of mates, you're out at a bar, you go up to a girl and you're having a chat, and she goes, oh, yeah, that's my boyfriend over there. Oh, that's your boyfriend? Man, he's a good dude. You're in great hands. Hey, enjoy the rest of your night. Hey, it's Chris from the gym. I noticed you haven't been in for a while. Maybe I can flick you a couple of sessions, get you back motivated to get on track again. Oh, I've got a PT's name's Richo. Far out. Richo's the man. You're in great hands. Listen, I'll let him know that we've been in touch. I'll tell him to give you a call and get your ass back into the gym. How does that sound? Great. You know what I mean? You do that way, the whole place looks awesome. You look like a great team of PTs. Everyone's on the same track, and there's no murky waters there, right? Then what do? You go see Richo and say, hey, on the list I was calling, I come across Julia, and she said she hasn't been in. This is why. Give her a call, man. She's keen to get back in, or something along those lines, yeah?
Yeah,
yeah, like
this. You don't know that if we just give them a list of names and say, hey, go nuts and give them a call. So we freely give the list to our members, our PTs, but I do sit with them and say, what's your strategy? What are you going to say? What are you going to cover? And in most cases where time allows, I'll have them sit beside me and make their first handful of calls for coaching as well as a quality assurance.
Yeah. And the other thing on that as well is when we're saying this canvassing, we're not saying sit there and do a 3-hour day. Do you know what I mean? These are all little things that we can do each day that you may set yourself a task of 10 a day.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like all these little things every single day combined together will give you what we get to as the total PT business hours, which are the things that make the difference on your business.
100%.
We're not saying
I need to add to that. I need to add to that very quickly. I don't have the physical capacity to call people every single day with the way that the schedule plays out. So I actually have a hour or 2 hour block made every spot every week to do all those calls for the following week. Good. As a new PT, you can drip and drab them through. For me, I haven't got time to play that. I smash them through in obviously a very professional way.
Yep.
Get them done, tick the box, move on.
Yeah, good. And that's important. That's important. You've got to make time for it. If it's a reaction to a bad day, it's not going to get you the result. If you're just throwing them in willy-nilly, it's not going to get a result. It's got to be structured. You've got to say, this is the hour of power or whatever you want to call it. This is the time. So, I've got client, call, lunch, programming, bookwork, canvassing, clients again in the afternoon. If you put that in your strategy, you can't miss it.
And that's the thing. If you're a new PT, you should have an hour. You should have an hour for that every day.
Yeah.
Do you mean like he's got an hour a week? So, do you mean when you're a new PT, you put it in your calendar? That's an hour of your day for the 5 or 6 days that you're working. And as you get busier, and if you start to approach 30, 40 sessions, you're going to start to look to drop those out. But if you're starting and you've got 0 clients to start with, if you're not doing an hour of that a day, then fucking good luck with the 6 to 12 industry, the 6 to 12 month industry average. Because that's what you're going to be looking at.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Cool. Man, I think we smashed the canvassing. Again, this accountability chart makes it really hard to drift away from that, guys and girls. So keep an eye on that. And at the end, get in touch. We'll flick that out to you. Research. Richo.
Research. Well, it just comes down to there's so many people in the industry now flooding the industry. What's going to set you apart from the rest? What's going to make someone train with you and not the other 27 in the commercial gym you're working with? And a lot of it's going to come down to how much you know and how good your skill set is. At the end of the day, you should want to be the best at your skill.
Yep.
Just get better at your craft. Spend fucking time getting better at your craft. Don't just do your Cert 3, Cert 4, come out and go, well, that's me set for learning for the rest of my life.
That's about 80%.
Be better.
Yeah.
Do better. If you want to have a niche, if you want to be sports and strength and conditioning, do Westside Barbell. Learn from Joe DeFranco. Put in the time to get better at your fucking craft. And that's going to bring you more business because the more knowledgeable you're going to become.
And it also brings you that confidence, guys. Like, the confidence that it comes with knowledge, Again, flicking back to watching the hours and hours of game footage, we turn up to games knowing when the other team has this formation and that guy's over here, it's only one of 2 options they're going to run. You know what I mean? So it's like in the gym, when you know what the industry is doing, you know what the general pop are looking for in their fitness provider, and you can provide that, you're already ahead of the crowd because you know what they're coming for and how to solve their issues, right? So research is about the technical aspect, but it's also about industry trends, and it's also about what's going on in your community, the kind of people around and what they're looking for. Nate?
Yeah, I like how Richo said my name. Mooney just chimed in. So rude, Mooney.
You'll get over it. It happens.
More knowledge. The more you know, the more you use. The more you use, often the better result you get. The better the result, the more prospective clients respond. Because really, most PTs can only spruik about how good they are, but they can't exactly show it. Without naming names, my Instagram post the other day, if you follow me on Instagram, I've got all of 800 followers. You should follow me. I'm super popular. Where's the proof? Where is the proof? I'm seeing all these advertisements of fat loss, muscle gain, and whatever, but I'm seeing no photos. I get it as a new PT. You don't have that body of work just yet. You don't have that portfolio. People have to take a chance on you. And it's going to take time for you to kind of hone things and get better, and you're going to doubt yourself a lot. Like I still do. I still think the programs I write suck. I still think that the job I do isn't good enough. Like you're going to have that thought process. But you have to start being able to get some results and show them. Because if all you're doing is I'm good, and I can't see it, then what am I paying you for?
100%. Guys, look at some of the biggest providers out there, and this is a whole different channel on how they go about their business and all the rest of it. But if we look at someone like your Ashley Bynes, whenever they're in the media with a lot of negativity, go look at their website. It's page after page of before and afters, page after page. You know, so when there's a lot of negativity on whether they're doing this or this right or wrong, you go and look them up and see on their page, and it's just before and after, before and after, before and after. That drowns out, unfortunately, we'll go on that on a different day, but it drowns out the negativity and goes, they're getting a result. So let's say that you're a better practitioner that gets a much better result. Put your shit out there. People are going to see it. They're going to respond to it. That's your advertisement, yeah?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, for a lot of us dinosaurs, it's hard because we don't really want to come around to the day and age of social media, but you have to keep up with the trends. Like, as much as you want to sit there and go, I hate social media, you know what? You're a businessman. It's 2018. We've got to fucking get on social media. That's what you have to do now.
Remember, people used to say TV was never going to pick up. You know what I mean? Who in their right mind would spend any money on a billboard today? Who's looking at billboards at 110 k's an hour going down the highway and has time to whip out their phone and quickly jot down the info? Where's everyone's eyes today? It's on their phone. You know what I mean? You've got to be there too. So social media is what's on there.
It's on the gram.
And it's free. And it's fucking free.
All right. The next one in it is audio listening. For me, this is a big one.
Yeah.
Again, and this sort of goes hand in hand with research as well. You should be wanting to be better every single day. Like, you should be wanting to learn something in some aspect every single day. And the audio listening is a great one because you can do that whether you're looking at it for your sales, or whether you're looking at it for nutrition, or whether you're looking at it for mindset. In every way, that all those different sections are going to impact your business. So for me, turn the fucking radio off in the car. Stop listening to the mindless bullshit that they fucking talk about, like the can of worms in the morning, like Jenny fucking whatever she did. No one gives a shit about Jenny.
Yeah.
Start listening to podcasts and getting better in every aspect. You drive to and from work. If it's PTs, a lot of us come and go all the time. If you live 10 minutes away from the gym, you go to and from the gym 3 times. That's an hour. That's an hour of podcast and audio listening that you could have done.
100%.
You do that over 5 days, 5 hours a week. It's 5 hours a week. And that's just in the car, let alone times you're on the toilet, let alone times you're sitting in the gym. There's so many times to be able to listen to audio and get better in all the different aspects that are going to help you with your business. You're fucking crazy if you're not even doing an hour a week. Fucking crazy.
And if you look hard enough, you'll find the audio books that are narrated by the author. So you're going to get a lot more content attached to what's in the written book anyway. You're hearing the tone that they've intended the delivery to be rather than reading it. But the big one, like Richo mentioned just now, is turn your car into a learning pod. You know, 2 years ago, that's where I started getting into some things and making the connection that instead of killing time doing mindless tasks, while I'm doing those mindless tasks, I can be listening to some shit and learning. You know, so I put it's a massive reason why the kick in the ass I got 2 years ago to start putting a few things together. So 100% highly recommend it, rate it. And if you're not doing it, you're a tool and you're missing out.
It's just where your learning is going to start. Like, it's going to spur you to go and want to do courses and do all this other stuff because people know that's where the attention is. So they're giving out a lot of their best content in these audio forms so you can go and learn more from them. I mean, it's kind of like what we're doing here. Like, we're giving out all this content this way so you can learn from us, so that eventually when we start to do other stuff, which will happen, you'll come learn from us there too. Yeah. Like, it's all about value and knowledge and providing, and you have a choice, and podcasts are free. Like, at no other time could you be better than you are, and it doesn't cost you a dime. Really. Like, you've heard everything that we're talking about. Yeah, everything we're talking about right here at the top of this accountability checklist, like, we can go through all the other stuff, which is essentially filled out from this top stuff anyway. All of this can be filling your week. Or actually, let me rephrase that. All of this should be fucking filling your week. And if it isn't, I don't mind, but I don't want to hear you complain. Yep. You're making no cash. Because this is a numbers game. Much like strength is, much like training is, we care about those numbers, but we don't want to care about these ones. Yeah. Listen, you're a big boy, you're a big girl. A lot of us picked up a lot of this too late and wasted a lot of time and a lot of years when we probably could be further ahead. Pull your fucking head in. Yep. If you're listening to me, pull it in. If you're listening to us, pull it in. You've got decades of experience telling you that these numbers matter, and you're trying to tell us otherwise. Have fun being homeless.
It's 2018. It's never been easier to succeed in business with all the knowledge, information, and advice that's out there for free of charge, right? You just got to find the right people to listen to. And as we've sort of mentioned in previous ones, if they're charging you for this basic level of shit, it's not the right people to be listening to, okay? So that's part of this mission, is to pump this shit out there for free. So you've got somewhere to go to, people that are living it and have lived it, people that are making a living from what you're trying to make a living from eventually, okay? So tune in weekly on this, guys. We're going to try and wrap this one up. I know we're only about not even halfway through, but we're going to put a post up after this. So when this gets posted, we're going to give you an email address. Flick an email through saying, send me the worksheet. We're going to flick this off to you. We'll go on. We'll pick it up again next week, I reckon, and finish some parts so that those that have got off their ass and done so will have a copy of this in front of them while they're listening to next week's episode, and we'll get a lot more. We'll smash out a lot more things. It'll make a lot more difference while it's in front of you. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, guys, just download it, right? Yeah. There's literally close to 40 lines here. You fill it out week by week. Follow along while we're going through this if you can. If you're new, this should be a no-brainer for you. Really. This is where it all starts and where it all comes back to, is your numbers matter.
And when you're killing it and you're making a success out of your business and it's growing to the point where you wanted it to and then some, you'll have this fucking sheet to go back to so you can replicate it for your next business or for your first employee or for your next franchise, or if you choose to stay in the same facility as a sole operator, you'll know what to go back to if things dry up or if things get a bit slow. Step it back, go back to the numbers, and away you go again. So
if this helps you out, we all want a message. We all want a message saying, thanks, guys, you were right, as always. Because the first one thing you're going to learn is Nate's always right.
Awesome. Guys, quick wrap-up. Like I said, we're going to post some info up on this. We've covered most of what I wanted to for this first part. It's a pretty epic sheet, but we don't want to skip it. So we want to make sure that we get the most out of it for you guys that are listening in.
Let Richo get a word in. I've talked too much.
Go, Richo.
Hey, look again, guys. It just fucking comes down to, why would you work 40 hours for someone else and not work 40 hours for yourself? Like, I mean, so when I talk about 40 hours as well, I talk fucking minimum. Like, when you first start, do 50 fucking hours. Like, all these people, we're living in an age now where people want to brag about how little they fucking work. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I sit at home from my laptop and sit in a cafe and do 1 hour a day. Live the fucking dream. Fuck off. Do the fucking work. Do the fucking work. If you start your PT career and you're doing 5 hours of paid sessions, if that, you should be doing at least 35 fucking hours of research, audio listening, canvassing, book work, complimentary sessions, walking the floor. How the fuck do you think you're going to get to 40 paid sessions a week? 100%. It's not doing your 5 hours and fucking off to the beach and posting a photo about how good it is and how you're now a fucking entrepreneur. Because I'll tell you right now, in 6 months, you'll be posting how much you hate your fucking 9 to 5.
Yep.
Do the fucking work.
Guys, can't finish up any better than that. Follow this podcast. Follow us on social media. Get in touch on the email. Get this spreadsheet. Let's get to work. Fellas, thanks again. See you next week.
See you, boys.
I'm out.